yesterday at TPUSA, that is Charlie Kirk's outfit, and this is from his show, I guess Real America's Voice, I don't even know. They have so many different like taglines. And
well, this is live from AmFest, which is the big festival.
TPUSA's AmFest
in Phoenix. But yes, he's doing his show from the big.
It's amazing because they keep regenerating the exact same thing over and over again.
I was about to say.
But what they'll do is they'll just keep rebranding it. This is the TPUSA AmFest as opposed to the Confab and the
and in Phoenix, where like apparently that was the center of Turning Point USA's focus in the 2020 elections, or actually started the 2022 midterms, about getting young people to vote Republican, and it was a miserable failure.
I wonder if like Charlie Kirk has some like deal where he's like somehow evading taxes by maintaining Arizonan residents. That's what that all speaks to me about. I don't know exactly. I got to look into it. But here is for folks who are younger, you may not know who this person is. But Michelle Bachmann was a congresswoman from Minnesota. And she, in my mind, always epitomized the problem that Tea Party people had with America. And it really is, to a large extent, they still have this problem with America in terms of conservatives. The difference is that they have their own media. She gave, I think, if I'm not mistaken, one of the first rebuttals to Barack Obama's State of the Union. But she didn't do so as a Republican. Barack Obama gives the State of the Union, and then the way that it used to be back in the day was then the opposition party would give their rebuttal. Now we have the opposition party give the rebuttal, and then multiple other versions of a rebuttal. We now have the Progressive Caucus.
Yeah, Bernie did it one time, right?
But that didn't happen until the year that Michelle Bachmann decided to give a rebuttal distinct from the Republican Party for the Tea Party. And the interesting thing about it was that it was a live direct feed to Tea Party parties going around on the country. CNN wanted a piece of this. And so they put their camera in the room too, except for she was delivering it directly to the Tea Party camera, and the CNN camera was over to the right. And so for Americans who were not Tea Partiers, which is the vast majority of Americans, her speech was like this, just slightly off camera, but she was looking into this camera. And so when she would speak, she looked like she was trying to look into the camera, but couldn't. And this was the metaphor that I was using. Like, they can't talk to both groups of people at the same time. Now they don't need to. Mm-hmm. Now they have their own sort of media ecosphere, and they only talk to their own people. And so they can go on and say bat crap crazy stuff like Michelle Bachmann does here with Charlie Kirk.
So all the good neighbor, all the money, Israel supplies all of the electricity, all of the water in Gaza, everything they'd done for them was turned around and used against Israel.
Pause it for 1 second. Just to be clear, they control the water. They control the electricity. They prevent Palestinians in Gaza from building their own water treatment facilities. They prevent Palestinians in Gaza from building their own power plants. But just so you know, it's not just a neighborly thing.
Before October 7th, before this latest indiscriminate bombardment, 9 in 10 people in Gaza did not have access to clean water.
Continue.
Used to defeat them, used to kill them. And one thing I saw is that whether you live in the north or the south of Israel, whether you're religious or secular, everyone agreed and united. We can no longer embrace this being Mr. Nice Guy to the people who are in Gaza, because this is over 1,000 years of mothers teaching their children, grow up and kill Jews, grow up and kill Jews. It's the mindset.
Can you pause it? I'm sorry. This is also a lie. Over 1,000 years, again, the nation of Israel is less than 100 years old, okay? And before that period, when you talk about the people that lived in the region and you read the work of someone like Avi Shlaim, who was an Arab Jew, there were multiracial, multi-ethnic, multi-religious democracy, not democracies, I'm sorry, but communities where people lived together at that point. This is a racist trope where evangelical Christian Zionists like Michelle Bachmann want to make it about a clash of civilizations between the brown people in Palestine and in the Arab world and the white civilized folks who are the Christians like herself and the white Jews in Israel. So it's not over 1,000 years, but keep going.
So what connects all this together, everybody, is that evil people and evil organizations, they take advantage of our fake God of tolerance.
That's right.
And they say, oh, these people are so stupid because they want to be tolerant. And they come in and they rape our girls and they kill us. And then they go and they kill a bunch of Jews in Israel. Maybe we shouldn't be so tolerant.
Well, and maybe our President Biden should learn what the truth is of what's going on in Gaza versus what's going on in Israel. So can you imagine? He handed a check for $100 million of our money just a couple of weeks after they slit the throats of Israelis. He's not willing to sign $14 billion to help the Israelis. The money is flowing in for Gaza. All the money is coming in.
I mean, it's just the cascading lies. He's begging the Congress to do the $14 billion. Now, I happen to be one of those people who think that aid should be leveraged, but he's begging just in terms of just like what's actually happening. It is the Republican Party that is not passing these things. It's just it's fascinating.
And they are whining and bitching about the money that's going to Ukraine, and that has been central to a lot of the Republicans for quite a while, and yet they are just completely besides themselves, desiring to send more of the taxpayer money to Israel.
In from Iran. And that's what the people of Gaza are. They're basically hired mercenaries. That is their industry. Terrorism is their industry. That's why you have more miles of tunnels, Charlie, than you have the New York subway, because they have one industry in Gaza, and that's terrorism. So it's time that Gaza ends. The 2 million people who live there, they are clever assassins. They need to be removed from that land. That land needs to be turned into a national park, and since they're the voluntary mercenaries for Iran, they need to be dropped on the doorstep of Iran. Let Iran deal with those people.
Michelle Bachmann, everybody, she does a great job, doesn't she?
Oh my God.
And I gotta be honest,
the genocide,
you know, I
Michelle.
look at Israel, and Israel says we never want another person into our country that doesn't share our values. They said they don't want refugees, they don't want any of these people.
What a concept.
I want American immigration policy to be like that.
Yes.
I want American immigration policy to be the Israeli immigration. Big walls, lots of deportations, and no people that hate us.
And
Michelle?
lots of happiness.
And lots of joy and shalom
That's right.
and peace and happiness. If you hate us, get the hell out of America.
I don't know.
Michelle.
I mean,
That's what Peter Beinart just spoke to us about, which is about how Americans, the American founding myth is quite similar to the Israeli one of being a nation of prosperity on hostile land. I'm paraphrasing a little bit what Peter told us, but you can see like the ultra nationalists in the United States and also religious fundamentalists like Michelle Bachmann, why they feel such a fealty to the Israel project. Like they love the idea that the border is so militarized in Israel, and that if there is any kind of incursion, that they get to summarily execute anybody. Before, obviously, October 7th, they were doing that to Palestinians. And they love the idea of creating a second-class citizenry of people that are of a different ethnicity. So that's...
Dan from Columbus asked, they need to be removed from the land. Did you advocate for ethnic cleansing, Michelle? Oh, yeah. I don't think that she would hesitate to say, oh, yes, that's exactly what I'm advocating for. And Charlie Kirk, sat there, and she does a great job, doesn't she, folks? She does a great job of calling for ethnic cleansing. And on top of that, while we're at it, let's also just see if we can't roll in the idea of immigrants and refugees in this country as well. Really shocking.
Yeah, no, the ethnic cleansing was implicit, but like the real operational part is when she says that she said that's what the people of Gaza are. She said assassins. All of them are assassins and terrorists. So what really, really vile right-wingers do in this country is they'll say what they know they can kind of get away with. But what Michelle Bachmann really thinks is that if they're terrorists, you got to kill all of those 2 million people.